most likely they will go to this thing and search you. And no matter what you say about yourself, does not matter. Guess what? What Google thinks of you is your reality today. Absolutely. What Google thinks of you, that's your reality. And if you don't manage your Google, you're in hell. This is the power. Apart from just search Google, there's a lot of sort of experiences for Google. Absolutely. I once spoke in Hong Kong, and it was a great conference, beautiful conference. I met this Chinese lady, doesn't speak a word of English, I don't speak Chinese. And she said like this, I said, great. So she pulled her cell phone out, and she used Google Translator, and she wrote, great speech. I'm like, great. Oh, I replied back, I said, can I just thank you? Next thing she says, are you free for lunch tomorrow? I said, sure. But the next thing that came to my mind is, she doesn't speak a word of English, I don't speak Chinese. So how are we going to have lunch together? But we did. The whole entire conversation was on Google Translator. So Google had its ability to enable me and create this conversation with this lady over lunch, and it happened. It happened. But next day, I sent her a message on her Instagram, because WhatsApp is blocked there. I sent her a message on her Instagram, and it was not a funny American joke, but it's a bit off-shelf for sort of a Chinese culture. I said, it was great meeting you. Google did a great part. So I gave the value to Google, but she misunderstood it because of the cultural differences. See what I mean? So the value of Google is much more than search. The value of Google is information transcended to all of us and connecting us. If Google decided, or the world governments decided to shut down Google, I think there'll be a revolution. Because none of us can live without it. Absolutely. Power, power, power. So let me ask you this one last question, Freddie. So what I just described now and explained about Google, if it was not for the values and the science, it was just the logo on a search engine, would that work? It wouldn't. Even if you spend millions on advertising, it would never deliver. Let me add one thing. Body Shop never advertised, yet took over the world. Starbucks advertised the least, took over the world. Apple advertised the least, took over the world. The power of the brand is its value. It's on the set of values and ideas you deliver, and not the claim that you create for yourself because you believe that claim is true. There's no truth. Even if you work on your personal brand, each one of you, and you say, this is what I am, if you cannot manage it, somebody else will have the perception that you cannot control, then you will have to live by their perception. Your behavior, your culture, the way you deliver yourself, the way you speak, the way your tonality is, the way you present yourself, it's either going to be a $5 or $1 million. It's your call. Personal brand is no different than organizational brand. In today's world, in this technology that we're living in fact, what I believe the future is, big organizations are going to go much smaller, and individuality is on the rise. So if you're a life coach, a designer, or an expert, or anything you do as an individual, by 2030, if you don't rise, you're gone. The digital world is one of the fastest way of commoditizing things. There's a clutter. There's busyness in it. Total busyness. I mean, the feed that comes into Google, every single day of information, you're part of that feed. So what makes you different? What are the values you bring as individual organizations? And if you cannot work on those today, then you don't have the future. So whenever you see this brand, most people think of price. Second, Paris, fashion, and so forth. But in fact, it's a luxury brand. This is one of the most powerful brands that built Paris as a destination. But what built it as a destination? In fashion, there's a luxury brands and there's high street brands. In luxury brands, unfortunately, when we talk about LV, Gucci, Hermes, and so on, their core attributes are shared. They all talk about quality, craftsmanship. They talk about authenticity, which he does. And they talk about status. And this has commoditized. But what made Hermes start differently? It's because they kept on doing this to limited pieces. They personalized it. So example, when they produce anything, the director, the creative director, or the art director, let's say, has to approve everything before it goes to the 300 stores. What does that tell you? It craftsman. It literally tells you they live by that craftsmanship that was created 130 years ago. Then again, the second part, what is it? Authenticity. Hermes never has any celebrity to endorse them. They never use. Third, it's the most luxury brand and yet casual, more friendly, not arrogant. But when we look at the whole luxury ecosystem and look at Gucci, LV, Chanel, Hermes, all of those share, very important, authenticity, heritage, and craftsmen. All of them, they do share that because that's under the category of luxury. But here's the individuality. Gucci is a lover brand. Their brand strategy is built on lover brand, sensual brand. Chanel is limitless fashion, but liberating femininity. LV is about travel and explore. So if I don't use the word travel and explore, or sensual lover like LV, or Chanel's, can they be a brand? Impossible. Because these words are creating experience in the mind of the audience. You're able to visualize how you would look, how you would feel, and what sort of experience you go through. I don't use LV, but most of you, LV, when you travel, you think about the bag and the purse. So you know that experience you go through. So the value in the brand is on the experience itself and not just the art. Art contributes, I'm not saying not. So if I look at this and you all look at this and you walk into the store, you have 30 seconds to build that frame in your mind. And that 30 seconds is called the perception. We call it the moment of truth. Either you make it or break it. So whatever you read about Hermes outside or from friends, and the moment you meet the brand, that's when the reality meets. Your mind starts validating what you heard. Is it true or false? So what happens if the brand does not deliver on the value? You will never come back. You will shatter the brand. So the relationship between the brand and what everyone, the stakeholders, think is the responsibility of the brand to manage those values. And not just the art. We often have beautiful stores, beautiful restaurants, beautiful galleries, and so forth. We invite people. When people don't come back, we complain. Oh, the food was not good. The price is too expensive. I often hear about the price is expensive. I want to bring that to the table, please. Brands are divided into four. If you're a story brand, your price needs to be expensive. If you're an experience brand, your price needs to be expensive. Like Google is a product brand. Hermes is a product experience brand. Chanel is an experience brand. Then we have something called the price brand, like Walmart in America, Kmart. These are price brands. If you're a story brand, an experience brand, your price point needs to be higher. If you're an individual, such as yourself, architectural, and you're an expert, you don't say my price will be expensive. If you build your personal brand, I'm worried that I'm expensive. The moment you say I'm worried about I'm expensive, you've already commoditized yourself. Because your customer is the one that buys into your value, he comes to you. The one that does not understand your value, even if he negotiates, you will have a poor relationship. You will have a poor relationship. So don't think of price. Set your price. But your price needs to also be rational according to the segment you address. As a consultant, maybe somebody would think, I'm expensive. And says, well, you know what? You're one of those expensive. I'm sorry, are you McKinsey? Are you BCG? I hear that sometimes. Are you BCG? I don't care about McKinsey, BCG. I am me. This is my price. I would not even go an inch. The moment I give discount, I'll commoditize myself. Why? I move from value to price. So they're buying me for the price, not for the value. You have to be extremely careful. It's too sensitive. Walk through Hermes stores. What are the chances you'll get a discount in LV or Hermes? Raise your hand if you think you can get a discount there. Not only a discount, You'll be embarrassed to ask for a discount. Let alone could ask for a discount. You'll be embarrassed. How could you ask for a discount? I moved from fashion to hospitality, but then I'll go back to fashion. I like the Ritz-Carlton for one reason. For my business trips in the past, before COVID, as a consultant, I stayed on many occasions at the Ritz-Carlton. And I've always wondered, why does the front desk lady or man always escort me to the room? And you get a box of chocolate. But yeah, you sign the credit card in your room, not at the counter. You see, please. Because I found out that the time I walk in and the bellman takes my bags and I go in and I show my card and I show my credit card, he says, Mr. Padilla, please follow us. My room is ready, everything is ready, they take me up. And you know what? It's just 2 words that created this experience. Look at the power of words, how they bring in the mind. This, ladies and gentlemen, that is the core of the Ritz-Carlton. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone that works there is ladies and gentlemen, and everyone that stays under Ritz-Carlton is ladies and gentlemen. Second thing, when you walk into the room, have you ever noticed the first thing we all do? We go to restrooms. We care how was the shower more than the bed. That's what we think about first. How big is the shower? Is that elephant shower, so forth? Because the value of the experience that we have is not just about sleeping, it's about the whole intimacy. And Ritz-Carlton mastered this. I have no words about saying about this brand, but Ralph Lauren is one of the greatest brands of America. I say that proudly. Ralph Lauren, 1969, when he first started, he was selling ties. He had a funny Russian name. His name didn't match an American culture name, and people could not resonate with the name. When he started selling ties, to his luck, a year later, Bloomingdale gave him a little corner, and he stopped pushing ties. But then he realized something bigger. You realize that everyone sells ties. Where do I stand? Everyone sells shirt. Where do I stand? I don't have an idea to build my name as Ralph Lauren. I don't know where I'm going. Though he was extremely a creative person. Well, he is now. So he did this thing. He built a brand on 4 principles. First thing, polo is a luxury game. So pick up polo. Second, he said, people that are playing polo. Third, he said, they need fashion. They need a culture. You put that next to it. Third, they need to have status. So we built a brand strategy based on these 4 principles. And I'm going to walk you through more experience. But then, eventually, in the 70s, the brand was so attached to the polo game that it cannot expand its values. So we dropped the name Polo from the name Ralph Lauren. But Polo is timeless. Till today we wear them. We wear them. But what does Ralph Lauren give us? They give us a lifestyle. A universality in our lifestyle. I'm going to walk you through a bit of an experience. 5 p.m., New York City. You're going to the Hudson, you're going sailing. Chances are, somebody says there's a cocktail, and you are an executive, a CEO. So that's the target audience of Ralph Lauren, CEOs, congressmen, and so forth. He has built up the fashion of Americans' prestige. Ralph Lauren is not a luxury brand. Ralph Lauren is a preppy brand. There's a difference between luxury brand and preppy. It's preppy brand. So if I go 5 p.m., Jazz, Hudson River, what am I going to wear from Ralph Lauren? A blazer, no gold buttons, silver 2 buttons. Bottom line, my business card here, no tie, and chino pants, white or baby blue shirt. I'll sit, under conversation, pop up my cigar, and have a shot of bourbon. You can visualize it, right? That's what he sold you. He sold you the American dream. Oh my God, beautiful. That is the American dream. A young guy, a young executive, just graduated from the university, looking for a great dream, and he wants to live that dream. All of a sudden, he's watching the Olympics, and he sees the whole entire American sportsmen with the flag. All are wearing the Ralph Lauren. So he feels proud. but there's this distinctive look and feel that gives it